Good afternoon. I'm really happy to be here. My name is Nadina Granville. I'm the founder of Gaining Visuals. And today we're going to be discussing Juneteenth, Northcott Neighborhood House, and Summerfest partnership, and how creatives can join in the discussion and make sure we can document this very historical moment. So, up first, I would like to have Madi introduce himself, and then we'll go to Mr. Kearney.
Hi, my name is Madi. I am a photographer, creative in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and I'm just happy to be here.
Hello, I'm Tony Kearney, Executive Director of Northcott Neighborhood House and the President of Juneteenth Milwaukee.
Thank you both. So I wanted to start today by honoring Northcott's legacy. So Mr. Kearney, I have a few questions for you. So Northcott Neighborhood House has been in the heart of Juneteenth, and I'm just curious what role you believe Northcott plays in preserving Black culture.
Well, Northcott started Juneteenth 54 years ago with two employees of Northcott. So Margaret Henningsen and Jan Kemp were the employees that got the assignment of doing Juneteenth. Miss Henningsen had been down to Georgia and had learned about the celebration from her grandmother. She brought that back some years later to Northcott and said, we need to do this. Her and Miss Kemp made it happen, and actually there was a lot of fear from City Hall, the police department, but it is history. That's the most important thing for people to understand. It is the history of America. It is not just African American history, it is America's history. And they brought that forward, not just as this celebration that we're going to have a big party. No, we're going to expose people to African American culture.
Yes, and I know personally for me, I've been going to Juneteenth from a very young age, and that was my first introduction to Black culture, truly, as I grew up in mainly diverse art schools, and being surrounded by people who look like me and was free in their Black joy, and being able to see Black entrepreneurs as well in that space, it gave me what I didn't know then, the hope to do what I do now as a Black entrepreneur. So I'm grateful for what Juneteenth in Northcott has been able to contribute to Milwaukee. So, can you talk about how Northcott personally impacts you and your history, given that it's been around for 54 years and you are the executive director?
Well, this is my 27th Juneteenth Day celebration. My first celebrations were the original as a young person experiencing it. Uh, so everything that you see Northcott do today is old. We've just brought it back and expanded it. Some things disappeared. The concert series, which now is the entire summer. The first time I ever heard Earth, Wind, and Fire was at Juneteenth. They weren't the group that you know now, but they were at Juneteenth. So having that opportunity to, one, experience it as a young person, as an adult, and then heading it up, I'm trying to ensure that the shoulders I stand on don't get wobbly because I'm screwing around. They're very, very strong shoulders. So it is easy for us to just present our culture because it's American culture. And to bring everyone in, that's the important thing, to get everyone to see the real African American community, not what they're going to see in these If it bleeds, it leads. That's not what we want. We want people to see the best of us, the real us.
Yes, and Juneteenth is not the only thing that Northcott does. Can you speak to the contribution Northcott is to the community in Milwaukee?
Well, Northcott's in its 65th year. So we've been serving the community for a very, very long time. Our young people, Northcott used to, unfortunately, have one of the oldest Head Start programs in Wisconsin. 6 years ago, MPS decided it wanted to run Head Start, and it didn't want any partners. So all the organizations that happened to have been delegate agencies of SDC, which was 28 agencies, lost their Head Start programs. Unfortunately, MPS has screwed up Head Start. And with this individual that's in the White House, we may not have a Head Start going forward. We're still hoping that that's going to happen and it's going to come back to the community where it belongs, because when you have people who are committed to our children, serving our children, we get a better outcome. When I talk about Northcott, my opinion is biased, not just because I'm the executive director, but because I was one of those children that was served by Northcott. So when I was 6, 7 years old, I used to go to Northcott after school. My children have gone there, my grandchildren. So I have a very biased opinion about Northcott and its commitment to the community. So as we've grown for the past 23 years, we've had employment and training programs. So construction training, we actually have built or rehab in collaboration with a number of developers, Gorman and Company, Maris Development, Green Fire, over 1,000 affordable housing units. Our team also builds houses, which is how we started out in construction, that we sell to low-income families. So when we're doing that, we're able to put the maximum amount of HUD subsidy into a house to create ownership. So we could actually build a house for $200,000 and sell it for $109,000 because that's the maximum subsidy allowed. What we do then is we're creating home ownership in our community, but also providing a skill set to members of our community, many of whom have returned to the community from the Department of Corrections. We also have an Arborist program that is now teaching young Black men predominantly. It's open to everyone, but predominantly young Black men how to be arborist. The goal there is, hey, no trees. We're not going to make it. So we're trying to deal with that. Milwaukee has a very large canopy and a little problem called the emerald ash borer. And it's a young man's game. You know, you're not going to find those 50, 60-year-olds climbing those trees. With all the equipment you have, someone still has to get up in that tree. So we are training folks to do that. Our goal is, if the community has a need, we're going to be there. During the beginning of COVID, many nonprofit agencies closed down. We elected to become a COVID testing site. Come here, get your vaccines, and by the way, we're going to do all the rest of the stuff we're still doing because we got to still build houses. We still got to work on the canopy, so we're not closing our doors. That was important to us to be able to continue to serve people. We have one of the largest food pantries in Milwaukee County, and we're open Monday through Friday. In the times that we're not open, if someone comes to that building and I'm in it on a Saturday, they're going to get served. And that's the way it is with all of our staff, because we all are Milwaukeeans who believe that we have to serve.
Yeah. So when we're thinking about Northcott and the contribution it's made to Milwaukee, it's not just a 1 day experience. It's something that is there 365 days. And we can look at it tangibly in homes and knowing the impact that it's made from young individuals to those who are coming back and transitioning into whatever part of their life. It's really awesome. So I'm curious because you spoke on COVID, which I'm wondering if there was a time period through your experience at Northcott that felt similar, that made you feel confident to keep your doors open and know that you needed to be a pillar for the community during that time?
Northcott was built to serve. That's our mission, to serve our community. Closing our doors was not an option, not for me, not for my board of directors or my staff. There was never a thought that we were going to close. It was, how are we going to still provide the same level of services that we're providing? And fortunately, the state put out an RFP for sites to be COVID sites. We immediately jumped on that because that was not only the opportunity to keep our doors open in a traditional sense, but also to give African American students with the medical college the chance to come in and do those vaccinations. So we also partnered with Health Connections Incorporated of Milwaukee. Erica Sinclair was right there on the double, hey, yes, I agree, I want to do this. It took a lot. And even having to send people door to door to test and vaccinate senior citizens. With our food pantry, senior citizens who received the stock boxes, they are determined boxes that are sent. Um, they can't get here, so we're going to DoorDash them. Needless to say, the Hunger Task Force stole that idea a year later.
Okay. And I'm sure that opened a large window for people to who didn't normally access your space to have those services and be taken care of during a major time of need. And I know that as that continues on and we're transitioning with current state of the world, that being able to expand and grow with a partner like Summerfest, it brings that awareness to those who may not be aware of the support and how you guys serve.
It's important for us to tell our story. Uh, and that's the thing that Northcott and other nonprofits in our community don't do very well. Um, and probably lacking individuals with your skill set. So we just do the work. We don't tell the story. And those people that are involved, like we have a senior club that's made up of individuals who've done everything, been actively involved in the civil rights movement, several who were there on the Edmund Pettus Bridge. So that experience and that wealth of knowledge, we need to get out there. Our children need to know that, they're not just a bunch of old people. So 2 years ago, we created an intergenerational program that we call Bridging the Gap. And we started sending them on field trips together, to baseball games, to the Underground Railroad Museum, and then just having rap sessions. So we have orchards behind Northcott that, the city put together all these apple orchards, and then, needless to say, they didn't have enough people to continue updating them and maintaining them. So we've maintained those orchards. And we turned Route 1 into a healing space. And during the summer months, on a biweekly basis, our senior citizens and our teenagers are out there talking about what's going on. having them go to America's Black Holocaust Museum and, oh, that's Miss Herrera. So you've heard it and now you see it. And they're able to tell you all those things. And I think that's kind of one of the things that's missing, the oral history of our community, the visual history of our community. So like Gordon Parks, you gotta do a little more work for us. We need to, we need to be able to tell those stories, and that's very, very important. And as Northcott or any organization grows, we have to understand that we stand on the shoulders of those who came before. You have to be able to stand on our shoulders. You're not someone who you're an outsider. No, we need you, and we need you to step in now because you have to carry on. We're leaving.
Yeah. So, Madi, transitioning to your experience here in Milwaukee, can you talk about your first time experiencing Juneteenth? And I know last year you were able to give your work in NBC News and really highlight Milwaukee and Juneteenth. And talked about what that meant for you in your experience.
It's tough to say what like my first experience with Juneteenth was because I'm pretty sure just as a baby I've been out there. You know what I mean? Just like at some point I was probably like one of those little kids that's on like my dad's shoulders, going through not really knowing what's going on, but just like oh, there's people in this just lively. But I would say maybe one of my first times getting the I'd say the awareness that I'm at a Juneteenth celebration. It was probably when I was about like 8 or so, when just really like walking around and like seeing everything, seeing all the people, reading different signs, and just sort of like getting that awareness of oh, we're here celebrating this. Got it. Cool. Um, when it comes to the NBC thing last year, they emailed me for like an assignment to. They were specifically were covering some of the canvassing efforts of both the Dems and the Republicans for the election season last year. But within that, I was able to still like sneak in some like Milwaukee cultural things happening at the festival, like the True School mural contest. I know that they published one of those, as well as okay, as well as just some of like the street portraits that I took as well made into that story. So that was good to like get that in there as well as the political landscape of the city.
So, how do you feel like Juneteenth, your experience of it, you just said, oh, this is what we're celebrating. How do you feel like each year as you come up on June 19th, Freedom Day, how does it shift over the years? What do you feel like has been some transitions in your emotional space?
Mm. I feel like more and more each year, I just want to be with like everyone that I know that's black, right? I just want to like get all the homies together and we either like go somewhere, walk the parade, or we like cook out at the crib or something. Like I just want more of that like togetherness each time it comes around.
And as a creative and as a photographer and multifaceted in many different other ways, how do you feel like what is the importance of having a camera and being able to be on the grounds and document these moments of people together, collectiveness?
See that's a tricky part that I'm still kind of wrapping my head around because the camera itself is still very off-putting for some folks. Like they're aware that it's around, so they like shift their behavior or they shift away like instantly just to be like, oh, like that type of thing. So just trying to make sure that folks know that one, I'm from here, I live here, I like Sherman Park, like I mean it, you know what I mean, and just knowing that I am of the community and not an outsider that's coming in to like get the photos of black people and be like, oh yes, cool, fun stuff. Yep, gonna take this and go away. Like it's important to just make sure that I'm building the connection with the community that I'm here for them. Like I'm not just making work. I'm like actively trying to document all of our lives.
Yeah, when I think about your work and just from what I've experienced through your prints, your online presence, I feel like you do a really good job of showing the landscape of Milwaukee and giving that feeling of warmth and the historical architecture in Milwaukee, which there's a lot of to be appreciated. But then you take these portraits of people and capture them in their most authentic, raw self. There's a level of peace for me whenever I look at your work and I'm like, okay, there's a conversation that was had. There is a sense of safety. And I think that's what the power of having Black photographers on the ground anywhere is important because we have that connection just immediately by looking at each other, but being able to have that conversation and know that this is not just for, like you said, coming in, coming out, but to make sure that you're shown in a beautiful light.
Yeah.
With some of the photography you've done over time and thinking about Juneteenth, do you feel like there's any stories that aren't being told right now when it comes to the documentation and how people look for Juneteenth?
I feel like, and this is what Tony was saying, there is a lack of that oral history of specifically the black community in Milwaukee. Like you have like a John Gerder that can tell you all about Brady Street, can tell you about the history of Bayview, all these things, but we don't have a John Gerder or someone that's actively trying to collect these stories. Like there was this period, I would say a couple months ago, I had heard about something that may have happened here in the 60s. And the first thing that I could think to do was like, oh, I'm gonna call my dad, see if he just to see if he knows about this. And he was like, there's a lot that was going on. Like maybe that could have happened. I'm not sure, but like it's like hard to like try to search those things up. Like if you try to Google articles from the journal will come up, and they're like their archive is not great. Like it's hard to like find those stories and truly know everything that's happened in the city for and to black people.
Yeah. So you joined us last year for our first photo walk. Can you talk about that experience and how you think that would have shaped you as a creative photographer at the beginning of your journey?
Oh yeah, no, I love a good photo walk. I love to walk around, take photos, be with people, meet new photographers. Like that's a truly a great way that photographers can get to know each other and to talk about the work. A lot of conversation with photography these days online is just like gear, camera, lens up. You need a Sony up and up. Oh, what you shoot a Canon? Oh my God! It's not as much of a thoughtful discussion of the work as it should be. Like, and I think that also leans itself into how people think of photography. People think of photography when they need photos. They're not necessarily thinking of photography when they want to look at art or understand that photography is an artistic medium. It's not just this scientific process that creates a photo. So I would say like yeah, no, like trying to like get up early on, like years ago, like all these spaces were just very white. There were people that were like, oh, we're from like Germantown coming into Milwaukee for like a beach type deal. Like, but like it always felt very ostracizing because it's like you don't have anything like in common with these people outside of you all have cameras. And even the way that they're looking at work and photographing is very much like, oh, I'm just like trying to like get some weddings booked. And it's like, no, but like, why do you shoot? That's what I want to know. But like, I always want to know like why someone shoots and what goes into their like style of shooting, like the choices, the decisions, like how much of it is like I was in the right place in the right time, or did you like set this up? Like those type of conversations get to really happen when people are like ready to discuss the work, which was hard to find.
Yeah, and I found that through the photo walk, we had a wide range of those who were at the beginning, just literally put the battery in their camera and now about to take a photo, and those who have been professional over 5 years, 10 years. And one of the cool things about it and being at the beginning of that conversation at Juneteenth is those conversations can happen and being like, what are you really paying attention to? What do you feel like is a story to be told? And for me personally, but with my business, Gaining Visuals, startups and small businesses is who I teach, talk to, and having media and a way to, especially in this time of social media, be able to promote your brand, be able to document the work that you're doing. A lot of the small businesses, because of what you said, Mr. Kearney, they're doing the work. They're showing up at the tables, the booths, they're vending, and the last thing on their mind, let me not say the last thing, but oftentimes picking up a camera when they're trying to sell their pieces, sell their food, it's really hard to do. So having that support of those who are being able to learn their gear and then also think critically about what kind of photo they're taking and supplying that to the vendors, I feel like was a great way for us to merge all of the different beautiful nuances of Juneteenth. And so, Mr. Kearney, going to your partnership with Northcott and Summerfest, thank you, Madi. I wanted to talk to you about the taste of Juneteenth and how that was born. I know here this next Saturday, September 21st, we have the Taste of Juneteenth at Summerfest grounds where you guys can do tastings of different Milwaukee food vendors. You have a wide variety of entrepreneurs for the event. Can you tell us what started that idea and how you wanted to extend that to Summerfest?
Well, that idea was started as we tried to figure out how we were going to initially partner. And April came up with that idea. And I thought about it for about 2 minutes, and I was full steam ahead with what vendors do we put there, because that is so important to expose them, the non-African American community, because that's who we're really talking about, to these vendors that they would never get to see. The quality of the food, the variety of the food. And, just to say that was important, it was a wonderful idea, and probably one that would not have come up had it only been Sarah and I discussing it.
So the Juneteenth ceremony is also integrated with Summerfest ceremony for their opening ceremony. Can you tell us what that feels like to have the court be on Henry Meyer Festival grounds, world's largest music festival? What does that mean to you in your time here?
For me, our Juneteenth court is always a group of very, very wonderful children. I want them to be out there. I want people to see them. I want people to challenge them because they're who they are, and they're unapologetically who they are. They are very creative, very self-aware, young African Americans. They're academically successful. I think we'll find that people will be pleasantly surprised to hear them speak, because I'm on stage to speak, and I'm going to speak about 20 seconds to introduce them and let each of them tell who they are and what they're doing, because they're amazing.
I agree. And I am so grateful to Summerfest for allowing us to continue our photo walk on their grounds to document this first for Northcott Neighborhood House and be able to have Black photographers behind the lens and capture this moment and make sure that we share their stories, oral and visually as well. So when you think about success, and we're talking about two organizations that have been around for over 50 years. What does it look like to partner with the organization like Summerfest? And what do you feel like is success for being able to extend it to the grounds?
Well, success for us is to have these two organizations that have been draws already, not only for people in Milwaukee, but for people outside. That I want, and success for me would be to see more people see Milwaukee as a destination, that I can attend Summerfest and Juneteenth at the same time. Now, we have 3 years that it will be occurring, and then we'll have our break, and it'll come back 7 years later. My goal, and I believe Sarah shares this goal, is to have a continued zero break relationship. It's very, very important for people to see Milwaukee as a very inclusive city. DEI is important. So we want African Americans to understand that the Summerfest grounds are theirs too. And we want non-African Americans to understand that we're talking about American history with Juneteenth. So you are welcome on King Drive. You're a part of it. We've tried to, over the past 5 years, really impress upon people that this is an American holiday. Prior to the vote, I mean, we've been pushing and pushing and pushing that this is for all Americans. And we have our Freedom Ball, which we had last night. That ball gives out an award to a non-African American. So no matter what, the Joe Winston Community Commitment Award will never go to an African American. It's always going to go to a non-African American. So we're trying to be inclusive. We didn't get here by ourselves. And believe me, I took a lot of flack for that from African Americans who are not committed to what we're trying to do. If you want to stay stagnant, stay by yourself. We have to grow, and we have to grow together. The Underground Railroad worked because there were some non-African Americans who put their lives on the line to make it work. We have to understand that and move forward. We're not allowing people to come in and take over what we are, change our culture, our history. We're asking you to experience it. I'm never going to change Polish history. I like the food. So I'm going to go experience it. I like Greek Fest. I'm not going to change what they're doing. Everyone's welcome. And with Summerfest and Northcott, I think you're going to see a better Milwaukee.
Do you feel like now Juneteenth being recognized as a federal holiday, that's shifted some of the conversations at all? It's been, I think, 4 years that it's been officially a federal holiday. Have you seen any difference in impact? I know it was post-pandemic too. Do you feel like Northcott has experienced a larger crowd or different kind of energy when it comes to experiencing Juneteenth since then?
Actually, no. If you look at the photos, you've always seen the sea of people. We expanded the year prior to. So you look south from Burleigh, you see a sea of people. If you look north from Burleigh, you see a sea of people. I don't think them voting changed anything. People understood. It is always about people. Um, Ron Johnson voted against it. And he actually appeared at Juneteenth after having voted against it being a holiday and thought he should have been accepted, that the people shouldn't have booed him. It's like, okay, wait a minute. You just said you weren't inclusive, but now you're here and want us to include you. That's not the way it works. Um, for us, we're going to keep on pushing what we're pushing, what we've been pushing for 54 years. We haven't had a problem with the crowd. And as we add things and strengthen our partnership with Summerfest, both organizations should see an uptick in diversity. That would be my greatest hope.
You led right into my final question for the both of you guys. So, Madi, I'm going to ask you almost the same question. For the next 5 years, what is your hope for Juneteenth?
For the next 5 years, I think my hope for Juneteenth would be just to see more of a citywide activation. Like, I want to see different things in different areas. I want to see different types of things. Like, I want to see like a Juneteenth market. I want to see like various other Juneteenth based events that can get everybody in. So there's something for everybody to come into. I think that's my biggest hope. Because I definitely see like some of the places, like there's a lot of things that go on, and I feel like just in Milwaukee, like you kind of have like the one option, and it's a great option, but I definitely think that we need to expand the reach of who we can get to come to what type of thing. Because some people, they don't like being outside, or it might be too hot. They want to still celebrate Juneteenth like in a way that they can still be comfortable. So I think just different types of events happening across the city and really reaching into some areas where you don't get touched, like Sherman Park, like the north side. Like you don't really have those things that happen on like way over there that could activate those neighborhoods too.
Yeah, I think this is a beautiful start, and it has been a beautiful legacy so far as we experience Juneteenth. Being able to participate and see the parade, being able to be on the festival, and now being able to be on Summerfest grounds and see music, experience food, different kinds of vendors. It's definitely not tied to one day. And I know that there are many new ideas that will be formed and born as you guys expand with Northcott, and allowing another space with our photo walk to invite different ways for people to get engaged in the community. And I'm just really excited for this year and what is to come. And I'm grateful for you two for this discussion. And for those who aren't aware, again, Saturday, June 21st is the Taste of Juneteenth. If you haven't already, grab your ticket. That is a day to experience a taste of Juneteenth, but you can always support Black businesses all around Milwaukee at any point, at any time. And yeah, I wanted to open the conversation up for the audience to see either what Juneteenth means to you, or if you have any questions for our panelists today.
Donate, we always want to hear. We've been at 2460 North 6th Street since 1986. So wow, that's the corner of 6th and Wright. That facility was built specifically for us, specifically for children. So that's where we are, and you can go to our Juneteenth Milwaukee website or to northcotthouse.org to donate. We need a lot of volunteers too, so if you ever want to volunteer, you can always come down to 2460 North 6th Street and find something that suits you.
I know for me, Juneteenth, it's one day that is really hard to, a lot of individuals are not able to take off. And a lot of individuals are not able to celebrate the day because of certain restrictions. So for me, having the privilege to be able to be on the grounds and celebrate and be with friends and togetherness, for me, that's what Juneteenth is really about. Obviously, liberation and the struggles that we had over many, 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 many years. There's still work to be done. And I'm grateful to be able to have a day to reflect on how far we've come and the work that still needs to be done. Well, I want to thank each and every one of you guys for being here today. Again, thank you, Madi. Thank you, Mr. Kearney, for this discussion and being able to really sit down and unpack some of the questions that some Milwaukee residents may have and those who are just now attuning to Milwaukee, Wisconsin as a whole can learn about. So I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I hope to see you at Juneteenth.